So
like
hello,
Rob.
I'm Cassie Prescott. I'm the newest event coordinator here at US Figure Skating, and one of my primary responsibilities is adult skating sectionals and championships. So a new face, but I'm excited to be here. And I'll go ahead and let Aviva and Lori introduce themselves for those of you who don't know them.
Hi, I'm Aviva Cantor. I'm the chair of the Adult Skating Committee. This is the committee that oversees the competition content for the adult championships.
And hi, everybody. I am Lori Fussell, currently serving as National Vice Chair for Adult Skating Competitions on the Competitions Committee. And our piece of the puzzle is managing the conduct of the adult qualifying season.
With us tonight is Cassie Papajohn and her team from product support. It's a little confusing. There's two CPs now. But again, Cassie Papajohn will be going over EMS and the registration process, later tonight. So obviously we just want to review 2022, announce 2023, go through the website, rules, and just kind of some important reminders that Aviva and Lori have for us as we finally get to host adult championships again.
Yeah, and we are monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions along the way, pop them in there. We can answer them as we go, or we'll have time for question and answers at the end. So just a quick review, 2022. This is where we're going this year for the Adult Sectional Championships. All three are going to be held the same weekend, March 11th to 13th. That is the weekend that time changes. So we will be dealing with that once again. In Eastern, you're going to Havertown, Pennsylvania, and being hosted by Crossroads Figure Skating Club. In the Midwestern section, you're going to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, hosted by Eastern Iowa Figure Skating Club. And on the Pacific Coast, you're heading to Spokane, Washington, to be hosted by the Lilac City Figure Skating Club. Which, trivia question, which famous adult skater is on the LOC for Pacific Coast Adult Sectionals this year? Oh, yes, Wendy Bear. Kara got that instantly. Yeah, so the original Wendy Bear knitter is on our LOC in Pacific Coast this year. And just a reminder, if you're doing qualifying events, I didn't put this in the reminders later, you must compete within your section. Also, if you're doing adult competition series, you must compete within section. If you're just doing non-qual events and you're not a part of either the championship events or the adult competition series, you can go wherever you want to. So if you have family somewhere in another section, you can go to that competition. All right, next slide. And then for the adult championships this year, we are going to go back to where the competition was first held and was scheduled to be held in 2020 to the amazing hosts in Delaware at the University of Delaware Figure Skating Club, April 6th to 9th. And registration will open on December 15th, and that is when the announcement will be available. And you'll have through February 1st to register, no exceptions, of course, to the deadline.
So everyone, the websites are a little different this year. US Adult Figure Skating Championships.com no longer exists. And from now on, all competition websites for both sectionals and championships will be located under qualifying competitions. So if you go to the USFS homepage, compete qualifying competitions, that's where you'll be able to locate everything, both adult information, and if you go to competition information itself, you'll find adult sectionals and adult championships. So a little different. Again, it's only located on the main USFS website. There's no second website, members only, or anything like that.
All right, we're going to go over some new rules, and I will stop knitting while I'm talking. So these are all rules that have been implemented since July 1st of 2021. So everything here is pretty new and fresh, and we just wanted to go over it. First of all levels of adult partnered pattern dance will now compete 2 dances instead of 3. So it doesn't matter if you're competing pre-bronze, centennial, silver, anything, it's all 2 dances instead of 3, and it'll be structured with a first round and a second round. So if you are a partnered pattern dancer, please make sure that you've checked the partnered pattern dance chart. And actually, if we could throw that link in the chat, that would be great. When I'm done speaking, I will put that link in the chat. Next, adult pre-gold and higher partnered dance. These events, adult pre-gold, adult gold, and Masters Open partnered dance events are now split into standalone partnered pattern dance and partnered free dance events. So in the past, these events had 3 rounds. The first 2 rounds were pattern dance and the final round was free dance. Now there'll be a pattern dance event with 2 pattern dances, and there will be a free dance with 1 free dance. And they're the same dances that you've been expecting. The dances have not changed at all. It's just that those will be separated. So if you want to just compete free dance or just compete pattern dance and you are a higher level dancer, you can do that now. Next, for adult bronze pairs, we have a new rule that competitors in the adult bronze pairs event may not have completed the standard gold pattern dance test, and that's partnered or solo. Also, there's a new rule for pre-bronze and bronze partnered dance. The competitors in adult pre-bronze and bronze partnered dance events may not have passed the standard senior free skate test or the standard senior pairs test. Next slide, please. I have one more. Yes, all right. So for championship adult partnered dance, the qualifiers, we have a new rule with withdrawals after you qualify. So the qualifiers may withdraw from either non-qualifying pattern dance or non-qualifying free dance, but not both. So this is a new one, and we had to implement this because their open events are now split into pattern dance and free dance. So if a team registers for both pattern dance and free dance, and then they qualify at sectionals for the championship event, they're only going to be able to withdraw from one of their open events. I'm happy to provide more clarity on that if there's any confusion. I feel like it's a little hard to explain. Next, we have a few showcase changes. The event Dramatic Performance has been renamed to Emotional Performance. The content of this event will be exactly the same. It just has a new name this season. Next, Light Entertainment. Light Entertainment, also that name we're not using anymore. That event will now be called Lyrical Pop Character Comedy. And again, the content of it will still be the same. Our showcase judging system. Now this was implemented in time for the 2021 Adult Championships. So some of you have experienced this, but the showcase events are now judged with the showcase component judging system, which means that instead of 6.0, where showcase competitors receive ordinals from the judges, the showcase competitors will receive numerical marks and will be ranked accordingly. And finally, for your showcase eligibility, your pattern dance tests now impact your showcase level eligibility, and the athlete is responsible for entering the correct level. So this is all outlined in the National Showcase Guidelines. So if you are someone who has tested significantly higher in pattern dance than you have in free skate, that's more where this is going to impact you. An example is if you have completed the gold pattern dance test, you are a master showcase skater, regardless of your moves or free skate tests. You're a master showcase skater now. So if you are particularly a higher level ice dancer, please ensure that you check the rules for showcase eligibility in the National Showcase Guidelines.
And we have some important reminders. There were some questions about these in the chat, so I chose not to answer them all because we're covering them tonight. So some of the really big gotchas for people if it's their first time participating in the adult qualifying season, or maybe we forget from year to year, are right here on this slide. First of all, for the adult championships and all adult sectional qualifying events, and by adult championships, I mean every event at the adult championships, both the qualifying and the non-qualifying event, you may not skate up a level. You compete at your test level. So that's different than most non-qualifying competitions, and it's also different than the non-qualifying events at adult sectionals, which we'll cover in just a minute. But for all adult championships events and the adult sectional qualifying events, you may not skate up a level. All tests must be passed by February 1st of 2022. And Here's the really important piece of this. You may not pass a test after February 1st and before you compete that would move you into a higher level, or else you are disqualified. This is the same as the standard track rules for competing in qualifying events. So they apply to the adult championships as well. So be sure you do not take a test that moves you up into another level. You can take tests, they just can't move you into another competition level. So moves in the field test, for example, totally fine. You may be able to sneak in a pattern dance test here or there, as long as you're not competing in pattern dance, or it doesn't move you up in a dance level. And then the other important reminders are our age eligibility is also based on that February 1st registration date. So if you hope to join us for the first time this year as a young skater in class 1, trying to be the youngest person at the adult champs, you have to be 21 by February 1st of 2022. And if you want to compete in a centennial event, you have to be age 50 by February 1st. So we're back to our original deadlines for tests and eligibility. It all got changed last year with COVID, but we are back to what is normal for our competition. I mentioned that some of the rules for the adult sectional non-qualifying competitions, and in conjunction with that, the adult competition series events are slightly different. So these work more like traditional non-qualifying competitions. You may skate up one level, and those are open to young adults age 18 and 20 as well. So you only have to be 18 by February 1st of 2022. And to reiterate, the most important reminder of all, well, the second most, the second most important reminder of all is that athletes are responsible for entering the correct level. Just because you see the option in EMS to skate in a level does not guarantee that you are actually eligible for that level. There's some quirks with adult rules that are very difficult to program. And we can't ask for the entire system to be reprogrammed just because of our quirks, and in particular where there are tests where if you pass it before or after a certain date, you're eligible for different levels. Those aren't factored into EMS. So you as the athlete are responsible for entering the correct level. And then of course, the most important reminder is no, the schedule is not yet available. So we can go on to the next slide. It was a great segue into the next slide, actually.
Perfect. So everyone, we're gonna jump over to our product support team. Cassie, Papa John, are you guys ready to take it away?
Yes, ma'am. Or figure out what screen I'm on.
While they're working on that, I just saw a note to answer some questions. I see one in the chat about this is from Dana, can you still transfer your open free skate registration to the championship event if you qualify? The answer to that is yes. So to explain that for people, there is a rule that if you register for the adult championships for the open or non-qualifying event, and you then qualify in that event, you can choose not to skate in your non-qualifying event and transfer it to the championship. And that applies also to championship dance, but you have to pick whether you're going to transfer your pattern dance or your free skate registration. All right, Cassie Papajohn, you are up.
All right, thank you all. Thanks for having us from product support. I'm also joined by our manager of product support, Laurent Massey. And as we go through, we kind of want to cover registration, managing that registration through the competition portal, and then identify kind of some help and resources along the way. Just like you have been, if there's any questions that do pop up, please feel free to put that in the chat. Registering for the competition will be done through members only. So after you've logged into your account, you're going to scroll down to the event management system. And then this is now the EMS homepage. Click competition registration. And for these competitions, you're going to go actually underneath the qualifying tab. And one thing to note here from a qualifying perspective, as Lori mentioned earlier, the competitions, both those that advance and those that are not, are going to be registered under one competition this year. So it is found underneath the qualifying tab. The section you are in is the competition that should appear for you. If you are competing in the non-qualifying events out of your section, which you're allowed to do, as Lori had mentioned earlier, do not start a registration or pay for it. Please contact product support. We're going to have to start a registration request for you out of your that isn't in your section. If you pay for registration, it cannot be transferred to another sectional event because each payment is tied to a specific competition ID, and those funds are going is tied there. So please make sure you're signing up for the appropriate qualifying event. And for those non-qualifying events, if you're going out of section, please contact us at product support and we'll get that started for you. Once you're in the registration process, you'll be able to see some of the information from the announcement and then just agree to kind of those terms and conditions and the rules of the sport. Wanting to make sure your profile information, it comes straight from the US Figure Skating database, so nothing should be out of sync, but if it is, you can update some of that information from the homepage. Your tests are being verified, or the official tests that you have on record are shown here. It is the highest in each of the various levels. Keep in mind for those that have skated through the years, some of your tests may not have been recorded if it's kind of pre this database of keeping track of things. If that test does matter for eligibility, it can be added. Please contact us here at headquarters, letting us know when it was passed, so we can go back to an old skating magazine, confirm that information, or if you have the test papers still handy, congratulations. Awesome job having those available. Provide that in and we'll get your test record updated. If you do have a partnered event, please select that you have a partner, and then you're going to choose who that partner is. And then you're going to choose your various events. Eligibility is based on that test record, as well as the age in many of those instances. If you feel there is a test, or I'm sorry, an event that should be available to you and is not listed, please contact us at product support. There are some events that have some very intricate rules. And so some of those, unfortunately, did not match up with how some of the system was built for kind of the standard track type events. And so they may be slightly off. So please contact product support if you think something is slightly off, and they'll give you a good best next step for kind of some of those oddities. Selecting the event and being able to continue on, you're going to be selecting your coach that's attending with you. You don't have to choose a coach, but that coach that you do add will receive information along the way. We will be tracking compliance on that person as well. So if they're your coach at home and they're not going to be attending, you don't necessarily need to add them because we will be kind of producing that credential and reviewing compliance along the way. After entering a coach, the waivers are presented. You do sign waivers once a season. And so if you have signed them once before, they're going to have the nice green check. Going into payment, it is safe and secure. You may have the ability to enter an address previously selected, but that credit card information is never stored in our system and you will have to enter it again. You will receive a confirmation once this is complete, both with your invoice and the registration for this competition. If you did choose a partner or a coach, they do receive the email as well, so they can track along the way. After registration, this is where you're going to want to manage your competition through that competition portal. Every competition that you have registered from your perspective and paid, you'll be able to find underneath My Competitions. Each competition is that hub of communication. You may see reminders that the LOC or the event staff puts out here for you. You'll see your personalized schedule, which is an example here on the bottom right, as well as being able to look at documents, practice ice, the full schedule, music and PPC, and managing your coaches along the way because they may change. So we'll dive into a few of these here a little bit more closely. Practice ice, kind of one of the biggest ones, right? Depending upon what window it's in, for those pre-purchase, the credits you're saying I want a specific credit to be able to utilize later. During that selection is when you utilize those credits and you're able to add and remove based on the eligibility and timing of that event and other things that are on your schedule. Open sales is any additional session available to you, again, that you're eligible for, will be able to maneuver around. The schedule is interactive. When you're in an appropriate window and you have credits available, you'll be able to add and remove. Again, managing your personal schedule. If you don't have an available credit, but you are not at that limit that has been set, select a session to be on and you'll get that red dollar sign that you'll see in the top right. That red dollar sign indicates that you do need to complete payment and go through that process. Sessions that you select that have not been paid for are only valid for 15 minutes. So very, very similar to concert tickets. So there is a window once you make that selection before you pay. If you don't pay within that period of time, it opens back up to everyone else in that pool. You do have those visual indicators. That blue bookmark are those that are on your personal schedule, where the red dollar sign is the ones that is awaiting payment. From a music perspective, I think every event that is available to sign up for will require music upload. This is being completed through your competition portal. And going in, you'll see each of your segments and whether or not it requires music or PPC, where you're going to be able to manage by the deadline. When you upload the music, you're going to choose that file to work with, and you are required to start listening to it. We want to make sure that you're uploading the music to the right event. I know many of you sign up for multiple events, very much encouraged. So just kind of a double check, make sure you've got the right piece of music tied to the right event. We do encourage you to listen kind of to the end, making sure you've got the right version, as we know that they sometimes change. But again, not a requirement to listen to the end, just to begin and pay attention to that event up top. Do ask for copyright information. If it is unknown, there's a few websites out there where you're able to put in that piece of music to obtain this information. It is recommended and kind of required to put in for each cut of music. So if you may have like a beginning, a middle, and an end, kind of looking at three pieces of copyright. Once you have finished, you're going to hit save, and then you'll have the ability to come back, listen, or change at any point in time up until the deadline. So watch that deadline. Once that deadline has been met, you are locked out. If you missed the deadline, you will need to communicate with the LOC and or product support. We definitely can make sure that it gets updated and added so that the music coordinator can download that piece of music. Again, watch from a timing perspective. That music coordinator is a volunteer, and they do want to download and make sure that everything is accurate and in the right place so that the music can go smoothly at a competition. If it is any updates to music sent very close to the deadline, it does have a lot of risk, making sure that everything's kind of in the right place. After music, PPC. For those IJS events that require PPC, you will have that requirement listed. Again, visual indicators, if it hasn't been completed, you'll see that red X. Things that have been completed, we'll see the green check mark. You're able to update and edit that PPC again, and while it is available and the deadline has not been met. For your free skate events, you'll be choosing that element from the list, potentially a jump, spin, step, or spirals. From a dance perspective, you're going to get or free dance, I should specifically say, you're going to get your free dance elements with your steps, your twizzles, the spins, and choreographic elements. We do understand that things change at times. So up into the deadline, you can come in and remove an item or potentially toggle to move the order, as sometimes that occurs as well. Update as needed, and just like music, it does lock out once that deadline is passed. Just as you added inside of registration, you can manage here as well through the competition portal. A skater can identify a coach that maxes 2 for singles, pairs and dance is 3. As things maneuver up into the competition, some of those may end up changing if anything health-wise changes. So always watch the announcement, always watch information that comes out. The coach does not have to be compliant before you add them, but they must have self-identified as a coach and or instructor. Anyone who has not self-identified as a coach will not show up in the search and won't be found. When you as a skater identify a coach, you are saying they have access to your schedule, and they also have access to see which competition events you've registered for, as well as seeing your music and PPC completion. They cannot update or change any of your music or PPC. They just know if you have the green check mark or that red X. They are also included in various email communications, different reminders, and then they themselves may get reminders as well regarding compliance if they're not compliant yet. Any coach that you identify through the portal or at registration, and you can manage through the portal, is expected to be on site, will receive a credential if they are compliant. For coaches, if we have any on the call, you yourself will also have your own competition portal. It is found through My Competitions, and within each competition, you'll see reminders. You'll have a full schedule, your own personal schedule, and then be able to look at your skaters. If a skater isn't listed that you feel should be listed, it's possible they haven't registered or they haven't connected you, their coach, to their registration, which they can do through their portal. Admins and product support will not be able to add coaches to a skater. I should also say the LOC can do that. This is athlete driven and done through either their registration or through the competition portal. For any information within EMS, and you see those white screens, using the hamburger menu up in the top right-hand side, you'll receive a click on Help and Resources, and then there's some various information that you may find helpful underneath user guides for skaters and coaches. At any point in time, you also can reach that product support team, and they're here to help you with anything kind of online product related to get you through registration or managing your competition. If you have rules regarding the conduct of the competition or the adult events, that's when you're going to want to reach out to the adult committee with Aviva and Lori, and specifically competition in general, the events team, and Cassie to be able to help you regarding these online software. The product support team is here to assist you. I know we work pretty closely as a team, so if you're unsure, just hit one of us up and we'll make sure you get to the right place to get those questions answered. So I'd like to turn it over and see if there are any questions that came through that we can assist with.
Cassie, there was one in the chat that I think was addressed unofficially. And the question was, will EMS work with a Mac this year? And a lot of Mac users said that they don't have any issues, but I don't know what the official answer is to that.
So the official answer is yes, it should. Keep in mind every operating system has a, and then every browser kind of is on different versioning. So we can't necessarily guarantee every device, especially regarding, kind of updates along the way, but yes, it should work for you. Other questions?
Perfect. Well, if anybody thinks of any other EMS questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll make sure we get those answered for you.
Great. Thanks, Cassie. Back over to you.
Okay, so we have a nice overview of the competition series this year.
All right, I'm going to talk about the adult competition series. So the adult competition series is an opportunity to have a meaningful competitive experience for those who are at the adult 1 through adult bronze level. So the whole reason this was created is because these are levels which do not have a championship event. And for the most part, with the exception of adult bronze, they also don't go to the adult championships. So this is an opportunity for skaters of this level to compete within a series. So it's open to all adult single skaters who are ages 18 and up, and that includes Learn to Skate USA members. And the way it works is that the skaters will accumulate points in the series based on their placement in a free skate event at local non-qualifying competitions. And we're also including sanctioned virtual competitions. And in the adult competition series handbook, which you can find on our website, it'll explain how you accumulate points, and there's a strategy to it. So for example, if you place first in a group of 5, you will earn more points than if you place first in a group of 2. So the points that you earn throughout the season, combined with the points that you earn at the non-qualifying competition held in conjunction with adult sectionals, will be used to determine your final series placement. And these are awarded at adult sectionals. And the prizes are really, really gorgeous trophies. And we will present these awards at Eastern, Midwestern, and Pacific Coast adult sectionals. Next slide, please.
So you can join.
So we have some changes to the adult competition series this year. I believe it's in its 5th season and we're still fine-tuning things. So something different for this year is that the series runs from May 28th, 2021 until February 20th, 2022. Any competition in this time frame that offers adult 1 through adult bronze free skate events will count towards competition credit. In the past, skaters had to look up a list of eligible competitions that were participating, and now any sanctioned competition is part of it. Additionally, any eligible skater who wishes to participate is going to register during the adult qualifying season registration period, which is December 15th through February 1st. So when we send out that email on December 15th that the announcement's out and registration's open, that's also for the adult competition series. Now, if you're competing in the adult competition series, you're going to register in 2 different places. First will be that you'll register for the series on FormSite. That'll be the separate series registration link, and all that link is you're saying your name, your level, and the fact that you want to participate in the series. Then the registration for sectionals will take place in EMS, and that's what Cassie just showed us. So you will go in and register for whatever your section is, and that'll be your final series points event. Now, remember, it's just like any other qualifying competition in that you do have to compete within your section. So if you live in the state of New York, but your home club is in the state of Ohio, you would have to compete at Midwestern adult sectionals in order to be in the series properly. Now, another big thing we changed is that the skaters are responsible for submitting their own results. So you can send those to adultcompetitionseries@gmail.com. And okay, and those results, it can just be a picture of the results on the wall. A link to the published results on a website is fine. And if you already competed and you forgot to send your results, that's okay. You can still send them to us. Most of them are probably published on the competition website. And you can also always just reach out to the host club if you ever need a copy of your results. They'll provide them to you. So any competition after May 28th, send us those results and you'll earn points. And all of the results must be received by February 25th, 2022 in order to be included for ACS standings. And all of the skaters who send us results also need to be registered for the non-qualifying competition held in conjunction with adult sectionals. If you just email us results and then you don't end up coming to sectionals, then that won't count for the series. And something else I'd like to clarify is that adult bronze skaters are in a really unique position in that, yes, they compete at the adult championships, but they can also do the adult competition series. And because of its timing in 2021, if you're a bronze skater who competed free skate at the 2021 adult championships, that event can count towards adult competition series points. It's just that we expect you to still email it to us as you normally would. So if you have questions about the series, feel free to reach out to me directly or to adultcompetitionseries@gmail.com. And we hope to see you at sectionals. Lori's muted. Talk to me.
Oh, I was trying to get a quick, don't move the slide yet. I wanted a drum roll, but this is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Redo
Go ahead,
it.
put it back up, put it back up. Go ahead, Cassie. So the 2023 adult qualifying season, you guys are getting a sneak peek. There's been no official announcement made yet. We are not going to make an official announcement or press release until we have Easterns confirmed, but this is what we're looking at for 2023. Salt Lake City, April 3rd to 9th. Midwestern will go back to the host that was selected for 2021. Fort Wayne Ice Skating Club. Pacific Coast will go back to its 2021 selected host, Vegas Golden Knights, Center of Excellence in Las Vegas. You can guess who we're talking to for Easterns based on who we've got up there for Midwestern and Pacific Coast. But until everything's confirmed, we don't want to share dates or times with you. So we'll look for an official announcement in the future when we have all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed. But this was the exciting sneak peek. You guys are the first to know about 2023.
And before we go into Q&A, I have two things to share. The first thing to share is that, yes, I did finish knitting this first 2022 bear sweater during this webinar. This is my first one, the first of many. So I hope everyone likes it. And second, this Wednesday, the Adult Skating Committee is hosting a webinar. We're doing 2 webinars in 1 week because adult skaters are overachievers. So our webinar this Wednesday is called Adult Skating 101, a crash course for collegiate skaters. And this is geared towards both collegiate and high school skaters. And our goal is to just introduce all the opportunities that are available to them. And this includes singles, showcase, synchronized skating, absolutely everything that's out there. So if you know anyone who is a current high school or collegiate skater who might be interested in learning about their opportunities that await, I'm going to put a registration link in the chat, and I really hope that you can share that with them because we'd love to have a really good crowd for this. And I think it's time for Q&A.
Yeah, so if anybody has questions we haven't answered yet, please, drop them in the chat and, we'll read them out loud and answer them. And if there's anything you think of after this, feel free to reach out to any of us so we can get back to you.
And I've made notes on questions that we've addressed in the chat, but I don't know if the recording will pick up the chat or if people will actually be reading the chat if they view the recording. So I wanted to cover them real quick live. We had a question about the light entertainment events. Will the combined category of Aviva, you have this memorized, it's now called comedic character. What is the new name?
So the individual events are called lyrical pop, character performance, and comedic impression. The event at the Adult Championships is called lyrical pop character comedy. It is called this because there is a character limit in the accounting software, and it will be combined for those three disciplines. So if you have a lyrical pop program and a character performance program, that's going to be an issue. You need to pick one or the other and compete at the Adult Champs. Now, what you could do is compete one of them at Adult Sectionals and the other at the Adult Champs, because there are two different music upload processes. So that would be fine, but it's going to, I think, always be a combined event at the Adult Champs just because of time constraints. And while I have the mic, there was another question in the chat that I'll tackle really quickly. Someone was asking about IJS judging for adult bronze. So this is available at plenty of non-qualifying competitions, but it's not something that's currently being explored for the Adult Championship.
And it's related to that showcase question. So because we're combining those different categories into one event, people are asking about prop and lip syncing rules, so they won't be enforced. You may use a prop and you may or may not lip sync. You won't be dinged if you don't lip sync, and you won't be dinged if you do use a prop. The judges won't know which category your program was originally intended for. This is all just one big combined event. A specific question for bronze solo pattern dance, if that would affect a free skate or a showcase level. The answer is it will not affect a free skate level, but a bronze solo pattern dance would put you in bronze showcase. And you find those answers to those questions in the showcase guideline. There's a big table. So everybody's going to need to make sure that they look at that specifically to make sure that whatever dances they took are putting them in the right showcase level. Question number 3 was about tossies for the adult champs. Count on them being in baskets, not on the ice. Each adult sectionals will have their own policy, so that information will be published in the announcements on December 15th. I had a question about what the difference is between qualifying and non-qualifying. She's not yet 21, so she wants to know where she can compete. And this is a good question for everyone as a review as well. Only adult sectionals may young adults skate at. So the adult sectional non-qualifying competitions, the ones that you just participate in at adult sectionals and you're not trying for a chance to advance to compete in the championship event at the adult championships, all of those events are open to skaters aged 18 to 20. So when we say qualifying versus non-qualifying, that means, are you trying to advance as one of the top 4 people in your section to compete in that event at the adult championships? All the rest are open, and anybody who signs up gets to skate in them. So adult sectional non-qualifying open events are open to 18 and 20-year-olds. I think I had a typo on the dates for the adult championships in 2023. It'll be that window from Wednesday to Saturday, just like normal. So I think the slide may have said April 3rd to 9th. It's actually going to be April 5th to 8th, that Wednesday to Saturday. Looking at the calendar over my shoulder right here. So thank you for those excellent proofreaders who caught that quick typo.
We have a good question from Danielle. Danielle would like us to explain in more detail the process of registering when you're unsure if you've qualified through a championship event. I can talk about this a bit. So basically, if you want to go to the adult championships, no matter what, you need to register for an open event at the adult championships. Then you'd also register for sectionals. And if you do qualify, you will be given the option to withdraw from your open event. There are plenty of people who say, I'm registering for the champ event at sectionals and I don't want to go to the adult champs unless I qualify, and that's okay. So in that case, you would exclusively register for sectionals, and your registration for the adult champs would come later if and when you qualify. So yeah, so it really just depends on what you want to do. And just keep in mind that the event needs to align. So like if you're trying to qualify in silver free skate, like championship silver ladies free skate, then you would need to register for the open silver free skate event at the adult champs. And that's the one that we would let you withdraw from if you qualify. If you were to register for like a solo pattern dance event at the adult champs, you wouldn't have the choice to withdraw from that because that's not what you'd be qualifying for. If that doesn't make sense, I'm sure we can talk more about this.
I could add just a little more commentary on this championship versus open, because I think there's some people who are just new to this concept. So let's assume you're a 20-something lady single skater. Your only championship event would be in a free skate event if you're a single skater. So you have a choice of your age class, one event for, the 21 to 35-year-old singles free skaters at your level, and or the championship event for your level if you are silver and above. Now, all the showcase events, those are just considered open events. There's no championship event for a showcase event. And same thing if you do like solo pattern dance or solo free dance. At this time, there's no championship event for that. So we're just talking about silver level and above single events, having a championship event, as well as for couples dance and for pairs, there is one championship level for that. So that might help kind of clear up at a very high level if you're confused, like, oh my God, what event's open and what event is championship? Does that help?
Here's hoping.
She said yes. I need to back up and apologize. Typo, totally my error on the dates for the adult championships in 2023. I have 2022 on the brain. What I told you, even as a clarification, was wrong. It's April 12th to 15th. So Cassie, when we send out the slides tomorrow, and
Let's edit that.
you got a note on that. Thank you. Yeah, error. Totally my error. Totally my typo.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It's on my birthday. That's wonderful.
Yay.
Also,
Cool.
questions in the chat about COVID policies or mask policies. I feel that it's a bit too early in the process to discuss these policies because, as we know, things are rapidly evolving and changing. I do think we can share the current US figure skating policy, Cassie.
Yeah, Aviva, I'll quick jump in on this. So currently the policy for all US figure skating events is that masks are to be worn for adult sectionals and championships. Currently, there's no testing requirement or vaccination requirement, but masks as of now will be fully expected to be worn at all times unless competing or warming up outside. And local guidelines, we also have to adhere to. If somebody's local guidelines go stricter, we will have to follow those. But again, these are a few months away. So right now the plan is masks for all. And if things get stricter or loosen up, you all will be updated accordingly for those specific events.
And just a heads up, right now, the University of Delaware's policy, which we have to follow if we're being hosted by the University of Delaware, which we are for the adult champs. Right now, they will require athletes and spectators to upload proof of vaccination or a PCR test that was taken within the last 3 days. So that's similar to 2021's requirements. Of course, that policy for the University of Delaware could also change, but right now that's where they're at.
Question about mask on practice ice. I believe that counts as skaters on the ice, so they don't have to wear one, at least.
Correct.
Flora is asking about requirements for program elements for each event. When the announcements are published on December 15th, the links will be in there, but you can also go on to members only and then go into skating opportunities, adults, rules and resources, and that takes you to all of the current requirements right there. And then there's always the rule book.
I'd like to tackle Rebecca's question. It's a bit of a confusing one. So it sounds like she has competed at adult high beginner and pre-bronze, and sectionals will be her first bronze event. So she's asking if her results will count for the adult competition series if she's switching level. In the adult competition series handbook, we do have clarification on this, and your results should still count. I would also like to confirm that if you are planning to compete bronze at the adult championships, like you've indicated in this question, you will need to have passed adult bronze free skate no later than February 1st, 2022. I've gathered that you don't currently have that test, so I would highly recommend talking to your coach and working on some plans for testing to make sure that you've passed the test you want so that you can compete at the level that you want. Oh, she's taking the test on Friday. Good luck.
Mhm.
Great.
Aviva, there's another one for you from Aya. It's about collegiate skating. And the question is, to be a collegiate skater, do you have to be an undergraduate student, or do graduate students also get to participate in collegiate? Do you know?
Oh my
It's
goodness.
not really,
Oh my
or
goodness.
maybe,
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to put Kathleen Westmoreland on the spot because she's in the chat and I believe that she will know. Kathleen.
I also know, sorry. I'm a graduate student and was an undergraduate collegiate skater, so you can be in any sort of program as long as you are, usually it's full-time unless you're in your last semester, then you can be part-time.
thank you, Megan.
You're great. And we have some other people in the chat confirming this. And just make sure, okay, I do want to clarify something about collegiate competitions. So you can't compete a qualifying event at the collegiate championships in the same season as a qualifying event at the adult championships. So just read the rules very carefully if you are planning on doing both and planning to try for qualifying events. And if you have questions on that, feel free to email me and I can specifically research your situation because that can be a little tricky.
So Jenny Cox is asking about showcase guidelines. It sounds like you're referencing an old version and a new version. So the new version doesn't have a date attached to the pattern dances.
Lori, I actually think she might be referencing the grandfathering rule for bronze showcase.
That right, which was in there because we didn't have pattern dances.
Oh,
I'll pull it up. Go on to something else. I'll pull it up.
okay, cool. Was there anything we haven't done? For adult bronze non-qualifying sectionals, will the age classifications 1 through 5 be followed? That's a great question. So I believe that at adult sectionals, we try to split the events by age class when doable, but it's not always a guarantee. This is very much at referee discretion, and particularly if there's only one person in an age class who registers, the referee is pretty much always going to want to combine them just so that they have a group. But if there are a lot of them, I'm confident that the referee would try to split it up a bit. Particularly like if a class 1 and a class 5 register, they'll try to not put them against each other. But the adult championships is really the only competition you'll go to where you see really regimented groupings by age class. Anywhere else, it can be a bit more fluid. Question about, yeah, same for pre-bronze. Again, so much of it depends on who signs up. Like if a whole bunch of class 1s register and then some different ages register, again, I would expect the referee to split it up, but it's very much at their discretion. Oh, Lisa Landon, an experienced referee, is in the chat, confirming that referees will usually group age classes as appropriate based on entries. I feel like when we were planning, what was the last sectionals we planned? My goodness, 2020 sectionals. I feel like I remember a referee coming to Lori and asking for recommendations on how to split up a bronze group. So, and I do think I remember Lori recommending to split by age where possible.
It's a balance between fair and meaningful, right? So to be fair, we want to group you with those in your age group. But to be meaningful, we don't want 5 events with 1 person in them. Right. So with adult sectionals, because it's not as big as the adult championships, there's going to be age classes combined. Yeah.
Is bronze the lowest level at sectionals? Nope. Sectionals has a non-qualifying competition held in conjunction with the championship event. So at sectionals, you can compete all the way down to adult 1, which is like, I think swizzles, snow plus stop, etc. Really, any adult skater can compete at adult sectionals in some capacity, and you don't even need to have passed any tests.
Got the answer to the showcase question. So yeah, definitely. I forget who asked the question, but right now the current guidelines state pre-bronze pattern dance will allow you to compete in adult bronze at showcase regardless of date. So the one that had the date associated with it was a prior out of date version. So make sure you're referencing current versions. And again, the announcement will be linking to those. I'm looking through the chat to see if we have anything else we've missed.
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten everything, but they're still kind of trickling in, and I want to give them a couple more minutes.
The schedule's still not out.
How do we sign up for sectionals? That will be in the event management system. So you'll log into members only on December 15th, and you've just got to register by February 1st. Once you're in members only, there's a big blue square that says EMS. That's an interesting question, Lori.
For showcase, so the question is, given that lyrical comedy and character will all be one category, how will judging take into account for the differences in each type of program? So the judges are going to know that they have a combined event. So the main thing is that there won't be any prop rules enforced, meaning that props won't be allowed. They will be allowed, right? Because one of those categories doesn't allow props. And one of those categories requires lip syncing. Well, that's not going to be enforced. But other than that, the judges are judging based on entertainment value. So I am a national showcase judge, and so is Rochelle and Julie and some others. Or, I'm sorry, Julie is not Rochelle, who are on this call. But pretty much think of it like this. The judges are casting a show. And who do they want to be in their show? So it's really all about entertainment. And so they don't need to know which specific type of category you were intending it to be originally choreographed for.
I just thought of something that I'd like to mention while there's a lot of talk about the February 1st deadline. Even though the deadline is February 1st, even if you're not completing the registration, like entering credit card information, please try to register before the deadline, because if something goes wrong with your registration and you've waited until like January 31st to do this, it's going to be a lot harder to help you. This is in particular if you've never registered before, or if you know that you have a special test record for whatever reason. I would recommend by like early January going into EMS, selecting your events, going through the process, just making sure that your events are there, because it's going to be so much easier to help you if you do it easier. I know a lot of us like to wait until the end of the month because of when our credit card bill resets. I totally get it. I'm one of those. But just try and at least go through the process early on, because that's going to be really helpful in case you do have problems. And we can always go in and see who has an incomplete registration. So if you have an incomplete registration, we'll know about it and we'll know, oh, that person might have had a problem. So yeah, that's just a really good best practice that everyone should try and register early. Oh, Beth Delano says, listen to Aviva. Yeah, and I also completely agree with what Cassie Papajan was saying about listening to your music in full when you upload it. I once uploaded the wrong version of my music and only realized this because I decided to listen to it in full. So take a moment and listen to the whole thing. Oh, we got a long question. Non-qualifying is dropping out required. That's a great question. Okay, you are not required to drop out of your open event if you qualify for champ. plenty of people like to do both. And also traditionally the open event will happen before the championship event in the schedule. No, I don't have the schedule, but that is traditionally how it works. So there are a lot of people who think, oh, I want to do both open and champ because it's a great warm up. And there are other people who think, ooh, I don't want to do my free skate twice. Let me withdraw. So that's how that works. She has more questions. Let me read them. I did the dropping out. Our teams, are you, so
So
yes,
the info on how to qualify for champ, that's the question. You need to be in the top 4 in your section, unless there aren't 4 in your section, right? Then there are secondary rules that kick in, which deal with the top 12 in the nation. And so all of that information will be in the announcement. It's also published in the rule book. And then there's also a question I really want to address about that Jenny Cox asked to make sure everyone's really clear on this. She said, so even if we get stuck and have to test in February, we should still register before January 31st. If you cannot pass the test you need to be eligible by February 1st, then you cannot compete in that event. The test deadline is also February 1st, and you may not skate up. So you cannot pass a test after February 1st either. So let's be really clear about that. It's happened before to people, they get disqualified. We don't want to, we want to be really good. We're proactive about this one.
so like if you register to compete silver free skate and then in the month of February you pass gold free skate, you have disqualified yourself.
And you cannot register to compete silver free skate intending to pass your test February 15th. You have to have passed it by February 1st.
No, don't do that. Don't cut it close. Just like, don't be testing late January. Don't cut it close.
Yeah, testing from junior to senior won't affect you because at the adult champs and adult sectionals, it's masters, junior, senior, they're combined.
Oh yeah, same thing for intermediate and novice. So like if you register to compete masters, intermediate, novice, and you only have intermediate free skate, you're welcome to test novice free skate whenever you want, because that doesn't impact your competition level at all. Yep, Kathleen's reminding us that there's no longer a 28-day waiting period. And actually for some tests, such as the adult silver and up free skate test, there's actually no waiting period now. So just putting that in mind. Is there a list of all virtual test sessions anywhere? That is a great question. And the answer is no, there is not. So the way that you find a virtual test session is that you go to Entry Ease and you enter any random zip code and you look up the test sessions that are listed, and it should be pretty clear which are virtual and which are not. If you don't like the options, then you enter a different random zip code. Oh, and apparently on Rob Lichtenfeld's club website, the Georgia Figure Skating Club website, they are providing a list of all upcoming virtual test sessions, which is amazing. Thank you, Rob. Because yeah, this is a very hard thing to find, which is not included on the US Figure Skating website. It's just not something they offer. Oh, no list, we are just offering them. Got it, sorry, okay, I got excited. So yeah, just search through entries and you can usually find a club that's offering them. And remember, it doesn't have to be near you. It can be outside of your region, outside of your time zone, etc. And now people are talking about some upcoming ones in case anybody's interested. That's also a great one to just like ask your skating Facebook friends if anyone knows of an upcoming virtual test session. Just make sure it has the right judging panel for you if you're testing a higher level test, particularly a higher level dance.
While we're waiting to see if there's anybody else with questions, I do want to acknowledge one other person who's here tonight, but not on the call. She's another member of the Adult Competitions Subcommittee on the Competitions Committee. And I just want to acknowledge Lexi Roner. She's also past adult skating chair. She's been helping us behind the scenes on the committee throughout the year. So thank you, Lexi. Club Florida's History Alaska.
Oh, I would also like to do a little plug while we're waiting for questions. If you are coming to the US Figure Skating Championships in Nashville in January, I will be there, and there will be an adult skating program table where you can stop by and meet some adult skaters. both on and off the committee. Rob will be there. The famous Rob is in the chat and he will be there with us. We will have brochures, we will have swag. We might be the only table in the building that has candy. So please stop by and meet us. I believe that Lexi will be there as well. So yeah, please stop by our table if you're coming to the US Championships next month in Nashville. Question from Jessica, why do the intermediate novice requirements only go up to double loop as far as jumps? So for adult free skate events, with the exception of Masters, Junior, Senior, we have pretty regimented rules for jump limits. And it's progression. So in adult silver, it's no more than an axel. In adult gold, it's no more than a double toe loop. In Masters Intermediate Novice, it's no more than a double loop. And then in Masters Junior, Senior, it's anything goes. This is pretty much an even reflection of the test requirements as well, because you could pass through a novice free skate without the ability to perform more than a double loop. So that's where the rationale for that comes from, but it's pretty much a reflection of a natural progression in difficulty. I'd also like to clarify that just because you're competing intermediate novice doesn't mean you have to have a double loop. You don't even have to have a single loop. You can do whatever jumps you please that will meet the requirements. Oh, great question from Dana. If your birthday falls after the February 1st registration, does your assignment follow your birth date or your age of registration? As someone with an April birthday, I deal with this a lot. So the age classes will be split up by your age as of February 1st. So let's say that on February 1st, you are 35 years old. However, during the month of February, you turned 36. You would still be put in age class 1, grouping age 21 to 35, even though you will physically be 36 at the event. This happens pretty often for everyone with a February, March birthday, and some of our April friends as well. So it'll always be age as of February 1st, and I don't believe there are any exceptions to this.
Carrie asks how many events at the adult champs. There's a 4-event limit at the adult champs, unlimited at adult sectionals. So that's another reason. So if you qualify, if you register for 4 open non-qualifying events at the adult champs, and then you qualify through adult sectionals to compete in a championship event, you are given the opportunity, or actually you're forced to withdraw from one of those.
Testing from junior and senior shouldn't affect anything. That's correct. It doesn't impact your free skate event at all. I'd like to confirm that you mean free skate, because testing a junior free dance versus a senior free dance could impact your showcase level. No, junior wouldn't. Okay, no, I think you're good either way. You're fine. Test from junior to senior. Go for it.
I think we've saved ourselves about 20 emails.
Maybe.
Minimum.
Here's hoping.
Can I say again, though, that the schedule's not yet out?
All right, everyone, last call for questions.
Perfect.
Especially while you have Aviva and Lori here.
When will it be out? So I'll just remind everyone to keep an eye on your inbox, because you should receive an email on December 15th when the registration has opened.
Rob was asking about when will the schedule be out.
It won't. It just won't. Will showcase duets be offered at adult sectionals? That's a great question, and that's actually at the discretion of the LOC. So I don't think we know.
Refer to the individual section. That was a sectional announcement. Yeah, each individual sectional announcement will have a chart at the end that says specifically which events they're offering.
Yeah. In the past, I do remember seeing them at some adult sectionals, but yeah, it's not always a guarantee.
All right, everyone. Well,
Yeah.
once again, the slides with the correct date for 2023 championships and the recording of this will be emailed out to all of you and anybody else who was on the call and anybody who registered but couldn't attend tonight. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to all of us. Thanks, everyone, for joining.